All right, y'all. This is it. The final run. It's time to take it home. Zeni, Zoast, show's yours, friends. What you got for us?
All right. So we're going to do Super Metroid 100% co-op. I am Shiny Zeni. This is Zoast. Back here we have Kip and Chabo. And yeah, they're going to be doing most of the talking. We're going to be doing most of the running.
Wait, this is not 100%. It's any percent
any percent all items. My bad. Or many percent.
Many
as,
percent.
as some people would call it. But yeah, I think we're ready to go if we can get a countdown.
Kip, you want to count it off?
Yeah, how about the crowd help me out? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, you beat me.
I win.
I don't have to go check on the scientists here, but everybody just runs right past them and doesn't check on them. And I'm gonna wake them up and tell them they spilt their cranberry juice. So when Zeni comes back, they'll be out of the way for you.
Thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
Kip, you want to explain what co-op is all about?
Yeah, so sure. Right off the bat, y'all, just want to say we're really happy to showcase Super Metroid again here. Super Metroid is a game that really stands the test of time. Not only is it a great speed game, but really ahead of its time for the SNES era. Great casual game. If you've never played it, you definitely need to check it out. But we're going to be doing 100% item collection for co-op here. And co-op is a really cool mode where they're both going to be running sort of in the same sort of game state. And so not only will they be picking up items to eventually get to 100%, but they will be sharing energy, they'll be sharing ammunition. So anytime one of them takes damage, the other player will as well. Anytime they pick up an item or some ammunition or energy, the other player will get that as well. So there's actually some really cool tech in this, and sort of management of your resources along the way. You really have to be cognizant of where you are and where your opponent, or excuse me, where your co-op friend is. I guess you aren't racing in this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chabo, tell us a little bit more about how co-op works.
Yeah, so they also share a lot of game state. So as soon as Zeni started the series of state sequence, then Zoast was able to activate the elevator to head straight to Zebes. And he's able to just run down there, and he's running towards Morph. As soon as he grabs Morph, then Zeni will be able to head towards Bomb Terizo. As soon as Zoast picks up missiles, then Zeni will be able to enter Bomb Terizo's room, and so on. A few early items here, they'll be gated, but most of the time throughout the run, they'll just be collecting items at will and won't have to wait for each other.
Right. In fact, early on, you'll kind of get to see a little bit of the nuance here. As you can see, Zeni's just sort of waiting for Zoast to collect the morph ball. Sometimes that connection will happen instantaneously. Let's take a look. Okay. Orb. We just got it. He got it fairly quickly. Sometimes it waits until the end of the fanfare. So depending on when you get an item at the very beginning or a little bit later, it can eat up a little bit of time, but not a huge deal. So the next time that there's going to be some hard gating here is for this missile pack for Zeni to grab the bombs.
After this missile, our routes are going to be wide open, and we won't be waiting on each other, pretty much.
Now, I will say, back on series, you may have seen Zeni do a new technique for arm pumping. So, we've explained arm pumping at just about every GDQ. Every time Samus's arm position moves while she's running, it pushes her an extra pixel forward, and that helps us run faster over the course of the run. But Zodin runner recently found a technique that allows us to arm pump much faster, but you rub your fingernails along the R button, but it can be tricky, and you only want to do it in certain rooms. But even though that can sometimes allow for 30 hertz arm pumping, which is as fast as you can go, that still doesn't allow for Bomb Terizo to be skipped. Dr. Girlfriend, another runner in the community, recently published an excellent, very in-depth video talking about why you will still never see BT skip done RTA.
So we just saw another kind of nice, interesting wrinkle for co-op that you wouldn't see in like a traditional solo run. Zeni actually jumped over that E-tank in the Terminator room. Zoast is actually going to grab it on his way through that room, and they're going to go through the same several rooms here at the very beginning, and then when they finally get to Red Tower, they're going to start to diverge. Zoast will be heading up to Rex ship to handle Fantoon and eventually get to the gravity suit. Zeni will be going down. But as you can see, Zoast is now grabbing this energy tank. It's a good time for both of them to get a refill. So there's a lot of really cool nuance in terms of figuring out who's going to pick up what and at what time. And the 100% is going to run somewhat similarly to the solo 100%. They're going to skip some of the stuff in Green Brinstar here. And then Zoast will come back for the rest of it a little bit more down the line.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting also that like Zeni's early game is going to be fairly similar to standard 100% with a few exceptions, but Zoast's early game is actually going to be fairly similar to the any % new route because he's going to go up to Fantoon.
Another thing we haven't mentioned yet is not only do the players share ammo and energy, but also the doors. So for example, you know, a blue door in this game will be opened by just a regular beam shot, but a green door requires a super missile. So here in a minute, you'll notice that Zoast will, at the bottom of this room, Big Pink, he'll open a green door and have to fire a super at it. When Zeni finally gets to that room later, that door will have already been opened and will be blue. So they actually, in some ways, have to make some adjustments from how they would typically play in a solo run because they still need to conserve some of their ammo.
It is also interesting that this early game, we get to see some of the differences in how these runners handle their game and the different strats that they use. So a few rooms ago, Zoast used a moonfall to get through Big Pink, and then Zeni, coming up in a second, is going to be going in morph, and he's going to attempt to weave through these platforms. And he got it.
Very nice.
And the moonfall, the weave is slightly faster than the moonfall, but less consistent. So, yeah, that is correct.
So here we are. Here's that. Zeni even wanted to select supers there for just a second because of the muscle memory of thousands of runs. But as you can see, the door was blue. And this door here at the new bridge will also be blue as well. In the meantime, Zoast has headed up Red Tower. He's grabbed the first Alpha Power Bomb pack and the missile behind here. Here's kind of an interesting wrinkle. A lot of times, like in the solo run, you would just go ahead and grab the beta power bombs in this room up here on the left. He's actually going to save that, and I believe it's going to end up being the very final item that they pick up in the run at the very, very tail end. So Zoast is coming up on every Super Metroid runner's favorite room, the moat room. So
especially during a one-off kind of race or run, yeah.
Exactly. But so here in just a second, this is kind of the first sort of critical moment where it's easy to get stuck. So let's see how he handles it. All right, setting up for a horizontal bomb jump over the water here. There we go, nicely done.
Good job.
Thank you.
Always a sigh of relief when you get over the moat. In the meantime, you'll notice that Zeni went down Red Tower. He is heading to Kraid, so heading into Kraid's lair here. Take a look at their ammunition right now. You'll notice that they only have one power bomb currently and 3 supers, but they're both needing to use supers for what they're about to do. So they're sort of timing things to make sure that they have what they need in the right amount of time. Here in a minute, Zeni will come across Mini Kraid, which will hopefully drop 4 supers on the run in. There is a tiny, small chance of only dropping 3.
One quick note that I think is interesting is when Zeni picked up Spazer, it changed the pallet that's used for the beam. So Zoast had, he's fired a Spazer shot, but it only used the pallet of the normal charge beam. So it only seems to update the pallet when you go through the doors.
All right, they're both fighting a boss at the same time. We're looking for a quick kill from Zeni, and let's see what Zoast does here with the Phantom patterns. Didn't quite have enough supers there, not a big deal. Zeni will just clean this right up. Looks like we got a slow for Zoast on the first round. And now we're gonna pick up this various suit. And as you can see, Zoast, Samus has already turned orange. Phantom not playing very nice, giving us some pretty bad patterns here. Hopefully we'll end with a mid, very nice. All right, nicely done. So at this point, Zoast is going to start to basically full clear wreck ship. This is kind of an interesting way to clear wreck ship though, because in normal 100% item collection, if you're doing it solo, you would have a very different loadout when you're in wreck ship. So this is a kind of a sort of more nuanced way of getting through some of these rooms. Even though he's gonna go in the same order, the strats are gonna be potentially slightly different.
Yeah, there are some unique strats in this wreck ship, which I find fun to do.
Yeah, normal run, you have high jump boots, you have speed booster, and so your movement is significantly different.
One also really cool thing about co-op, just in case anybody hasn't quite noticed because they've been looking at the players' gameplay, here in the middle on the stream, you can actually see the entire map of the game, and you can see Zoast and Zeni's characters moving around and grabbing everything, which is something that's really cool. All right, that high jump pickup helped Zoast get into or through the sponge bath room there.
Yeah, that high jump comes just in time. It's really cool how we get some items just right in time. Works out very well. It's kind of the beauty, part of the beauty of this run, I would say.
Yeah, and then one nuance is that sometimes you'll have different equipment from one run to the next, so you may have to adjust on the fly.
Nice bomb jump by Zoast there to get that energy tank.
Shout outs to 2Cat.
Zeni, in the meantime, grabbing this cathedral missile pack, and we'll start to collect several things in Upper Norfair. He will not be full clearing Upper Norfair at the moment. Very similarly to the normal 100% route for a solo run, there are several items up here that will be picked up later after Lower Norfair is completed. And in fact, I believe Zoast is going to end up coming and picking up some of these items. But we are headed towards, I would argue, the most fun item in the game. I guess depending on your preference, some people might say Spring Ball, but I feel like Speed Booster is sort of the quintessential item for Super Metroid speedrunning. It allows for a lot of really interesting tech, and it's a lot of fun to use. So Zeni's on his way down here to grab that Speed Booster.
Yeah, more Zoden pumping. You can see that technique being used by Zeni right now.
Zoast must kill all of the enemies in this room to be able to open that door on the left, and then also on the right. There's one item over here, everybody's favorite room in Hundo.
I call this the worst room in the game.
And we got that speed booster. Zoast's gonna try to clip through some of these robots, very nice. And you're gonna notice Zeni moving a lot faster now.
Hopefully I will be too.
Top speed about 9 pixels per frame, I believe, instead of 5.
Nice attic, Zoast.
Thank you.
Zeni will be heading down here to grab the wave beam.
those sky missiles, I love that strat. Because if you jump straight across, then you're just going to bonk into those rocks. So you have to sort of arrest your sideways momentum while still keeping your vertical momentum.
Kip, when are we getting the recruitment speech?
I guess since you requested it, maybe now would be a good time. So we did want to take just a moment real quick to acknowledge the entire Super Metroid speedrunning community. We have, without exaggeration, a very, very wonderful community filled with a lot of very friendly folks, very welcoming to new players. So if you are really interested in Super Metroid, whether like legitimately speedrunning yourself, or there's other things to get into. There are people that like to do tasks. There's a pretty robust randomizer community. There's a lot of races and tournaments. And it would be difficult for us to name every single person that played some kind of role in leading to what you're seeing on screen right now. There's all kinds of people that do strat, finding, et cetera, et cetera. So
if you wanted to credit everybody that did a strat in this run, it would be hundreds of people probably.
Exactly, and so we have it's a very big community effort. And just to kind of make it personal real quick, the very first Super Metroid run I ever saw was the 2016 SGDQ Super Metroid race, and it inspired me just to play the game again casually for the first time in a long time. And then all of a sudden, people started coming to talk to me about speedrunning. One thing leads to another, and I've been speedrunning it for several years now. So that this could be you next year or within a few years. So if you're interested in Super Metroid, we would really love to have as many people as possible come hang out with us.
Also, there's plenty of people that do other things that really help the community, like our moderators and other things like that, community tournament organizers. Also, everyone that writes support software, like our practice hacks.
That's right.
The people that helped on the practice hacks probably deserve like all the world records in this game.
Yeah, that's very true. And just to make my point, or to bring it home, we've had a lot of fun with the Super Metroid people that have shown up to this event here. Will you guys make some noise out there? That's right.
Skipping Main Street.
Okay.
So what Zeni just pointed out is there is an item in this room that you can short charge to Shine Spark to get. He has decided to skip it, which that has cued Zoast into that he will need to pick it up when he shows up into this room near the end of the run. So depending on how a run is going, there actually is, there are a few items that they can have some leeway on and decide who's going to pick up in any particular setting. So in this one, Zeni skipped one, and Zoast will get it here in a little while. Also, I think now would be a good time. I'm going to let you take this one, Chabo. Zoast is coming up on some really fun, cool-looking, but also very difficult strats here back in Criteria. We're on the landing site where you come in on the ship. But tell us a little bit about short charging.
Yeah, well, first he's setting up a wraparound shot, and it actually works because out of bounds, there are other copies of the room just because of how it's laid out in memory. So he was able to fire towards the right side of the room and have the shot hit the door on the left side. So now he's setting up a short charge. It's a very particular short charge. You have to have it activate just so.
So close.
He didn't lay the power bomb, but he got the short charge just right so that he could break those blocks without falling into that pit. And you can Shine Spark to the back of this room, and it looks amazing.
Yes, it's very, very tight.
Yeah,
I got the hard part.
But this strat is still really cool, and now he's going to go through these two sets of crumble blocks. I know just...
Oh!
Nice.
Listen,
I joked that I was going to do that on purpose, but I did not do that on purpose.
I don't know if the crowd understands what just happened, but trust me, that was worth some applause. That was he avoided a potentially multi-minute mistake there. So great job, Zoast.
Yeah.
But Chabo, help me out with the explanation. Short charging, basically to get the echoes and then potentially a Shine Spark. The game checks on certain frames of the run animation to eventually get there, and if you press the dash button at the correct times, you can sort of get those in a much shorter physical space.
Yeah, so you have to get your dash counter to 4, and it increases if you're holding dash when, same as this run animation, is on a certain frame. So if you hold it for only those frames, then you can increase your dash counter without increasing your momentum, which allows you to charge your Shine Spark in a shorter time, or a
Right.
shorter distance, rather.
And one of the greatest things about any Hundo run is you get a second chance to hear the great green Brinstar music. Super Metroid has tons of excellent music in it, but this is one of the best tracks in the game for me.
Okay, not a second time.
Well, that's true.
I meant for the crumble block.
Right.
I don't wanna scare everybody again.
We saw lots of practice runs, so things are going well so far. All right, Zeni over here is going to be heading into Botwoon. Safe to say everybody's favorite boss in the game?
Yeah, and another new strat. So runner Detald came up with this.
That's right.
That allows us to shoot missiles earlier in the cycle, and it makes a one round much easier.
Very nicely done, Zeni.
Thank you.
Also, let's watch Zeni for a minute. This is probably one of the most classic Super Metroid speedrunning tricks, the full halfie. It's going to be a little tight here.
Nope.
Oh, that's okay.
Full halfie is very flashy, but not the biggest deal.
No, in terms of time, it's not going to be detrimental to the run at all. And let's tell a little Super Metroid lore, just to give everybody a sneak peek into how things get named. There's usually a name for every room or every item in the game. Zeni just picked up the missiles in the Precious Room, which I think every time someone hears that, the first thing they think about is some connection to Lord of the Rings. Where did that actually come from, Chaba?
So there was a runner who was talking about the room before Dragon, and he called it the Precious Room, but that was actually a typo. He meant to say previous.
That's right.
But that named the room. So that's what it is now.
And it's been the Precious Room ever since.
Yep.
Zeni gonna fight Dragon here. This is a really cool opening strat. Using an X Factor and a Shine Spark to get maximum damage on the opening, and he's gonna attempt to get Oh, excellently done. I didn't even have time to explain it. That's about as perfect as you can get for Dragon. Nicely done. And a spike suit. Excellent job. That's gonna allow him to do the reverse halfie. And everybody's favorite item, the space jump.
And I will also say that that setup for the X Factor is new. It's
right.
somewhat similar to Behemoth's setup, which is the rain dance, but it's modified, and this one creates less lag.
Really kind of goes to show you how awesome Super Metroid is as a speedrun game, because you can spend tons of time, put a lot of effort into it, and yet still there are new strats being found all the time.
And we have the full Wompy.
That's right.
Womp jump into the spark. Can't remember who named that one.
I have no idea where Wapple Jump came from, but
Yeah, or who made the full Wompy after that.
right.
Zeni went ahead and turned off his various suit right there on a pause. One interesting sort of neat thing about co-op is sometimes you get the chance to use items like that you would never actually have in that part of the run. So right now, Zoast technically does have the space jump already equipped in Green Brinstar. You would typically not see that.
This right here is going to be like a map completion strat. This particular space jump.
Zeni got the Hollywood Video old strat with a new name because it's similar to Blockbuster. It usually comes after the Blockbuster in 100%.
Zo's gonna lay a power bomb right here. It might look like, why is he laying that there? But there's a purpose. There's an orange door up there, and he went ahead and opened it early, which will allow both players then to avoid having to do that again later in the run.
Yeah, it'll save Zeni some time when he comes back to this area.
Good example of teamwork here with Super Metroid Co-op. Also, we should mention that you guys are watching a really awesome, well, let's look at the Blockbuster real quick. Oh, very nicely done.
Yep, so it's got the Blockbuster, otherwise you have to go around that ledge.
That's right. And then a nice ice clip into the Shack Tool room here to get Spring Ball for Zeni. And Zeni kind of gets to chill for just a minute and wait for Shack Tool to get done.
But he damaged himself on Shack Tool, and that's a fairly new strat. It reduces the lag from the power bomb.
That's right.
Because when Samus takes damage, then her sprite is only drawn every other frame, as long as she has iframes.
So Zoast heading down now is going to pick up some items in Upper Norfair, but then also go to take care of Lower Norfair. What I was going to say earlier was, you guys are watching 2-player co-op, but the cool thing about Multitroid and how co-op works is you can actually do more than 2 players as well. There's even some leaderboards for 3-player co-op, different categories. So however many friends you want to bring with you, you're welcome to do that.
One of the commonly missed missiles that Zoast is grabbing right now. And I love that damage boost.
Also, hopefully we'll get to see this. This is good timing. Zeni just picked up that spring ball, which it affords Zoast the opportunity to potentially do a spring ball strat in this room. Very nice. He's keeping as much speed as possible to space jump through.
Yeah, it's important you get as much speed as you can there because this space jump is really long, so you're stuck with that speed.
And if you fall in that room, it's terrible because lava kills speed boosters' speed for some reason. So if you fall on those spikes, then you have to move slowly through the rest of the room.
Right. You'll also have to forgive me and Chavo if we don't comment on a particular strat that you really love out there, because with Super Metroid, there's a cool strat in almost every room, and with 2 people playing at the same time, it's hard to keep up with everything. Yep. Zoast had a really nice D-boost into the lava dive room and then space jumped up.
Zoast has a strat coming up in this room that he came up with, and
this is Behemoths, actually.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, this version is Behemoths.
Okay, so it's actually about the same speed as the old version if you get it right, but it has some backups that are faster than the backups for the old strat, which I'm a big fan of that.
Oh, that was an excellent strat there by Zeni as well on the left side with getting the plasma beam. Plasma beam came at a perfect time. It's really cool how this run ends up lining up with a lot of the item pickups. Zeni grabbing that plasma beam is now going to help Zoast out in the next room here fight Golden Chorizo.
Golden Chorizo is extremely slow. Well, I won't say extremely slow. I could use all supers, but I'd waste all our supers to try to beat Golden Chorizo, or it'd be very slow.
Also, take a look at Zeni's screen for just a moment. This room has some pretty cool tech in it as well. Very nice. Good job, Zeni. Zoast getting some double hits on GT over here.
Can I get in with a couple donations?
Absolutely.
Awesome. I've got a $50 donation here from Vatic. I always have to donate during Super Metroid on behalf of my 2 cats, Samus and Ridley. Save the animals.
Nice.
I've also got $250 from Shoji Koto. Kill the animals! And it looks like right now Save is ahead by about 1,400, so keep those donations coming in if you want to get that changed up.
So sparking through the pillar room, always cool to see.
Even with screw attack, space jumping at almost full speed, it's just faster to shine spark there. But I think the main reason is lag, actually, and not that it's that much faster movement-wise, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it lags pretty hard if you space jump through there, because I tend to do that.
Lag is the reason we do a lot of things, actually.
In fact, now that you mentioned that, the next room that Zoast will be in, he's actually going to lay a power bomb, and it's going to seem like it's, like what is it doing?
Like in an accident.
Right, it's going to look like an accident, but it's definitely purposeful.
Oh.
It has something to do with the sound cue. Y'all could probably explain it better than me.
Yeah, as you enter a door, the game has to wait for all the sounds to finish before it can start the door transition. But if you lay a power bomb, it empties all the sound, so it can keep going immediately. And also killing all those key hunters for the power bomb lag in this room. Otherwise, it's multiple seconds if you keep all of them alive.
Right. So now that Zeni is done with his portion of Meridia, while Zoast is clearing up Lower Norfair and heading to Ridley, we're going to have Zeni head back up and go back into the retro Brinstar area. Well, actually, before that, he'll pick up the X-ray scope here, but he'll be heading up to Retro Bryn to collect a few more items before he ends up going to Torian. So Zeni will be our runner who will be handling the Metroid rooms and Baby Metroid and all that. Let's watch Zoast. Hopefully he'll be able to get this strat here. Oh, very nice. And now the third room really completes the whole thing.
Yep.
Excellent.
And also Zeni landing on the spikes so that he can run faster through the second half of that room.
That's right. And shout outs to whoever donated earlier for naming their cat Ridley. My dog is named Sam after Samus, so I can appreciate that. But this is one of the best boss fights in the game. Ridley is always very interesting in every category, whether you are, super equipped for it or not. Here, it won't take too long to kill Ridley. It's either 20 charge shots with the full beam combination, but those supers actually do double damage, so oftentimes Zoast will supplement some of that in there too. Very nicely done.
Yeah, I split the difference in the middle, kind of 12 charge shots, sort of in the middle, 12 charge shots, 12 supers usually. Works out. At least in this run.
On Zeni's side, this section of the run is actually very technically demanding. There's some really cool strats going on over here.
This is one of the hardest sections in the show.
For sure.
So it's firing a missile because it lags less than the beam.
Back to the lag thing.
Yep. Love that super missile that Zeni just did.
Zoast, K going up through those platforms there and getting a speedball through Wasteland.
And clipping through that platform too.
That's right. What room are we entering on Zeni's side, Chabo?
The Billy Mays room, because there's one missile patch.
Right.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, is that right? If I order now, what do I get?
Another missile patch.
Oh, excellent. All right, check out Zoast's side real quick. There's a series of really cool deboosts here.
Not sure if I'll be able to get the.
Oh, wow.
All right, there was a series of one cool deboost there. Explain the Hodarubi special. Please.
Yeah. So in this next room, Zoast is going to be doing a strat to do a short charge into a spring ball jump, and it's going to break a bomb block after
Whoa.
Before he grabs
you try to get
right?
the missile on the way to the bomb block, but you still got the bomb block with it.
Yeah,
and Hodarubi published his 100% PB back in, I think it was 2008, and then he published that strat afterwards. So for a while, a lot of people actually, there was like misconception that it was misnamed. They didn't create the strat, but then we rediscovered the video.
On Zeni's side, we're going to get a really long vertical shine spark there to get the climb supers. And Zeni's going to grab one more item before he makes his way into Torian. And the good news is all 4 of the major bosses have already been defeated, so he'll just have to kind of chill for a minute until that cutscene finishes. In the meantime, Zoast will finish with Lower Norfair, and then he's got some cool strats to show you in Upper Norfair for the remaining items that were not picked up earlier in the run. Technically, those were called the 230 missiles because they're the 230th missiles or whatever that you get at the end of a hundo run. But I guess we can't really call them the 230 missiles in this run because there's more missiles to pick up.
Yeah. But Zane got a fantastic mockball coming out of that room.
That's logic is not going to stop us.
One of my personal favorite strats of this run and also the hundo runs in general is coming up soon on Zoast's side. When he re-enters Bubble Mountain, he's going to have the opportunity to use Spring Ball to get a really neat across the room deboost. So let's see how it goes on his side. It looks really awesome when it's executed, and it's It's pretty difficult to do, so let's see what Zoast does here.
Gets through the door properly.
I love this bomb.
Bomb to kill the waver up top, again to reduce lag.
Oh, I can't get the deboost back, but that's fine.
Nice, nicely done.
Yeah, I think the waver stops moving when you go off screen, so the bomb is pretty easy to place and not miss because of that.
So we are getting closer and closer to the end of the run. I would like to make my personal pitch for everybody to save the frames and kill the animals. And I guess I should atone real quick. One of the first GDQs I ever watched, I actually didn't know what they were talking about when they said save and kill the animals. And I decided to donate, and I donated to save the animals because I was like, I can't donate to kill the animals. Well, once I started speedrunning Super Metroid, I understood. So I'd like to formally apologize to speedrunners everywhere for doing that. Zoast, Chavo, why don't you guys explain what's happening here with Croc?
Yeah, so if you use plasma on Croc, that hits him many, many times as it's going through his body. So it does a lot of damage, causes him to move all the way back to the collapsing bridge. But Zoast is off camera because it warped him to the left.
That's right.
And then there's an invisible wall here that normally prevents you from moving left. Now it's preventing us from moving right.
So very briefly, we're coming up on the baby skip. There are many iterations of the baby skip, and new ones continue to get discovered. So we're going to give Zeni a chance to focus here, and then afterwards we'll try to explain what you see. But he's going to do it in a different way than I think has been done in past GDQs. Let's see how it goes. Oh, so close. Not a big deal, though. So can you explain the difference between the one he just attempted and the old one?
Yeah, well, I'll just say real quick that because he got grabbed going through the door, the game basically thinks that he's still being grabbed by the baby, which slows his movement. So he can fix that by saving and then resetting. But yeah, so this iteration of the baby skip, so most of the time, dating back 10 years, we've been having the baby go around counterclockwise relative to Samus. And there's a runner, Stachio Cat, who on a whim was like, can we make it go clockwise? And he got the baby skip by having it go clockwise, and he was like, this might actually be faster.
Right.
And then Zeni, Zoast, Real Cutie, and a few other runners played around with it, and yeah, it's faster than what was previously optimal for any percent.
That's right. I wish you guys would quit finding strats that I have to learn. It'd be nice for me to just, stick with something I already know. All right, so we got Mother Brain 1 here.
I forgot I still had that. I don't really need it.
Normal 100% you're carrying a spike suit through all this, so had one sort of by habit.
So what we'll say in advance real quick is now would be a good time to pay close attention to their resources, so their energy and their ammunition, because there's a lot of interplay between what each one is doing. Mother Brain is going to shoot the rainbow beam. It's going to do 6 E-tanks worth of damage because Zeni turned his various suit off earlier in the run. He's going to try to set up to do a stand-up. But Zoast actually needs some energy to do some of his strats, and they also need like a super and power bomb for some things that are coming up. So watch how they kind of work together.
So I'm going to pause here because the rainbow beam actually depletes our ammo, and Zoast needed a super missile to get through his gate there. So
I probably should have waited earlier. But. We'll probably need the safe kill total pretty soon as well.
All right, where it's sitting right now, I'm showing save ahead by about 1,700.
Should we close it at the end of MP3, or?
Oh, that should be fun. I would. Oh, I forgot.
Zoast going for a Shine Spark, but not having enough energy there. But he's going to dip into the reserves here. This was the missile that Zeni pointed out earlier that he was going to skip.
So then there's the second to last item that we have remaining. Zoast is going to grab one more once he gets into Red Brinstar.
Zoast will need a super to get through this green gate in the next room.
2 of them to get to the door as well, yeah.
That's right. And if
Well, I
he-
could get a cack attack drop too.
Correct. And if he needed a power bomb drop, he could get one from the zeros in the bottom of the room, but he's already got that power bomb there, so he'll be in good shape. So here's the last item being picked up for this any percent all items run.
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear. We saving the animals? Killing? Saving?
They said
We
Zach was
are
ahead.
we are saving the animals with $19,498. We are saving the animals.
All right, so the interesting thing about co-op when it comes to saving the animals is the saving of the animals is actually going to happen in a different sequence than it normally would. I believe, Zoast, is that correct? You're going to be the one saving? So as Zeni attempts to just escape, Zoast will actually head over to save the animals, and they will probably be back in parlor at roughly similar times.
Yeah, so unless they were going to meet at the ship at almost exactly the same time, then saving the animals doesn't actually cost any time in this category.
That's right. And we will be coming up on time. There's the animals.
I lost my Shine Spark because of that.
Time is when the second player is facing forward on the ship, and it looks like that's going to be Zoast. And time. Excellent run, guys. Nicely done. And I do want to quickly say, I didn't say this earlier and I should have. Really, guys, give an extra round of applause for Zoast and Zeni here. These are 2 of our premier runners. They put in a lot of work. They're awesome dudes, and we really appreciate you guys a lot.
Thank you both for commentating our run too.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thanks for having us as well. It's an honor to close out the event. I've never actually closed out the event. I've done a lot of next to last, so it's really awesome.
Thank you guys so much. This has been a great opportunity. I've wanted to showcase this for years and years. It's been really an honor to come back and do this in person. So, yeah, thank you, Zoast, for submitting with me. And
It's been a pleasure.
yeah, thank you, Kip and Chabo, for the wonderful commentary.
Thank
And
you.
Thank you, crowd.
Thank you.
Thanks to the community too for all the support. We wouldn't be the runners we would be without the community, I don't think.
Yeah.
And each other, of course. I guess we're waiting for Deer Force.
Yeah,
or,
I was going to ask, there's going to be 2 of them. So we
That's true.
So we either need to line up on one together or do it twice. What do you guys think?
We do it twice.
We're going to do it twice?
Twice.
All right.
Okay.
Got to catch up on some donations while we're waiting here.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
We had a lot coming through here. $100 in from the Hockey Towner. Good luck, Zeni and Zoast. You are 2 of the finest, fastest, most superlative speedrunners to ever play the game. Shoutouts to the Super Metroid speedrunning community, one of the best there is. This one goes to Kill the Animals.
Thank you, Hockey.
Thank you,
One of our great commentators.
That's right.
$150 came in from Sassy Zeni. I'm guessing it's too late to request co-op reverse boss order getting into that category bit war. Oh well, kill the animals. Also, can we get a thank you from the crowd in chat to the amazing Games Done Quick staff and volunteers? Say thank you with me on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. All right, so we're about to get our first of 2 Deer Forces on the left.
Deer Force!
And again on the right. It's like the Billy Mays room.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Deer Force!
Hope you all enjoyed the run.
We got 100%.
Many percent. Many percent.
That is many.